They say the sweetest revenge is success served cold. What they don't tell you is how delicious it tastes when your biggest tormentor's own wife delivers the final blow. Christmas Eve dinner. 60 guests. Crystal chandeliers casting golden light over mahogany tables laden with prime rib and expensive wine. My older brother Sebastian raised his champagne flute with that trademark smirk, the same one he'd worn since prep school when he'd lock me in storage closets. "To my pathetic little brother Daniel," he announced, voice dripping with manufactured charm. The family's biggest disappointment, who somehow managed to stumble through law school on his 4th try. The room erupted in cruel laughter. Our parents, Senator Patricia Blackwood and Federal Judge Harrison Blackwood, chuckled behind their napkins like obedient spectators. 60 pairs of eyes turned to me, waiting for the familiar sight of Daniel crumbling under Sebastian's verbal assault. But something had changed. This wasn't the broken boy they remembered. For 32 years, I'd lived in Sebastian's shadow. He was the golden heir, Harvard Law Review, youngest partner at Morrison & Associates, married to socialite Victoria Sterling. I was the family embarrassment, community college graduate, 3 failed bar exams, living in a studio apartment above a Thai restaurant. Sebastian made sure everyone knew our hierarchy. He'd accidentally mention my failures at family gatherings, introduce me as my brother who's still figuring things out, and once, memorably, told Victoria that dating me would be charity work. What he didn't know was that failure had taught me patience. While he basked in inherited privilege, I'd been grinding in legal aid offices, taking cases nobody wanted, learning the system from its darkest corners. Judge Morrison noticed my obsessive preparation, my ability to find precedents others missed. She recommended me for a federal clerkship. That led to prosecutor work. Then something extraordinary happened. 6 months ago, my name appeared on a very exclusive list. 3 interviews, 2 background checks, 1 Senate confirmation hearing that Sebastian never heard about because he was too busy planning his European honeymoon. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Embossed letterhead, presidential signature, official seal. I was now the youngest appointee to the Supreme Court in modern history. Victoria knew. I'd told her during a chance encounter at a coffee shop, shown her the documentation when she didn't believe me. Her expression had shifted from skepticism to awe to something that looked like regret. "Sebastian doesn't know, does he?" she'd whispered. "Not yet," I'd replied. "But he will." The moment of truth. Back at Christmas dinner, Sebastian continued his performance. "Maybe next year Daniel will actually accomplish something worth celebrating. Though at this rate, we'll all be dead first." More laughter. More cruelty. I stood slowly, glass in hand, and the room quieted. "I do have an announcement," I said, voice steady as granite. Sebastian grinned wider. "Please tell me it's not another online certification course." The laughter felt hollow now. Victoria wasn't laughing. She was watching me with wide eyes. "Last week, I was sworn in as Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court." Silence dropped like a guillotine blade. Victoria rose from her chair, champagne flute trembling in her manicured hand. In the absolute stillness of that golden dining room, she spoke clearly. "Congratulations, Your Excellency." Sebastian's face drained of color. His mouth opened and closed like a dying fish. Around us, 60 guests sat frozen, trying to process what they'd just heard. "You're lying," Sebastian whispered. I pulled out my phone, showed him the news article already published in the Washington Post. Youngest Supreme Court Justice in history sworn in quietly. My photo stared back at him. Our father, a federal judge who'd never shown me an ounce of respect, looked like he'd seen a ghost. "The Supreme Court," he croaked. 9 justices, I said calmly. "I'm one of them. For life." Sebastian tried to laugh, but it came out as a broken wheeze. "This is insane. You're nobody. You're nothing. You're superior," Victoria interrupted, her voice cutting through his stammering. "In every possible way." The room watched in stunned silence as she removed her wedding ring and placed it on the table. "I'm filing for divorce tomorrow, Sebastian." I can't be married to someone so small. I left before dessert, walking out with quiet dignity while Sebastian sat shell-shocked among the ruins of his carefully constructed superiority. No drama, no gloating, just the truth he'd never seen coming. The divorce papers hit the news 3 days later. Victoria's statement was simple. I realized I'd married the wrong brother. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. It's about becoming so magnificent that your tormentor's cruelty transforms into their own humiliation. Sebastian spent 32 years making me feel worthless. Now he gets to spend the rest of his life knowing that history will remember me, while he remains exactly what he always was. Nobody special. And the best part, every legal document I sign for the next 40 years will remind him of this moment. Justice Daniel Blackwood, Supreme Court of the United States. Your Excellency,